Good evening and welcome to the Jake Joslin Show, starring me, Jake Joslin. And tonight, we are delving into one of the most dastardly crimes ever committed in our fine city, the attempted robbery of the First National Bank and Trust and the subsequent killing of the bank robber. A caper now known as the Case of the Killer Kielbasa. Our crack team of investigative journalists, consisting of me, Jake Joslin, has been interviewing all the participants. So let's get right to it. Tell us exactly what you saw.
Well, I've never seen anything like it in my 37 years as a teller. This scruffy-looking gentleman walked in and handed me a note. It's rather unusual for a customer to hand the teller a note. Although one time, this young man gave me a note that said, "You remind me of my mother." That was so sweet. I started to cry. I still do. Oh, yes, the robbery. Well, this gentleman's note said, "This is a robbery. I have a gun. Give me all your money." Well, I knew exactly what to do. I pressed the secret button under the counter that rings the alarm in Mr. Harrison's office. But he didn't respond. He must have had some very important meeting going on. But what could be more important than stopping a bank robbery?
Yes, I suppose the alarm was going off. But I was deeply involved in a confidential meeting with my secretary, Miss Mang. She was busy taking dictation. Yeah, that's it. She was taking dictation.
Taking dictation? Is that what he calls it now? What a dork. When Chuck says, "Miss Mang, take a note," oh, I know that I'm in for some dictation, if you know what I mean.
I didn't know what to do. I had to stall for time. So I asked the gentleman if he'd like to apply for a home equity loan. I explained that if he was that desperate for money, that was a much nicer way to get it than robbing a bank.
All I wanted was a few $1,000s, you know what I mean? Buy a case of Jim Beam, invite a few girls over, have a party, right? Yeah, nothing too fancy. Not greedy. I didn't want $1 million. All I wanted was a few thou. Just give me the cash, and I'm out of there. Never see me again. Then this bank broad starts asking me if I want to borrow money. Well, I figured just right then and there I'd better focus her attention just a little better.
The gentleman reached into his pocket, and that's when I knew he wasn't interested in a home equity loan. I was starting to get a little nervous, so I pressed the secret button again, twice this time.
Well, after our dictation was over, I saw that the alarm was going off. So, let me tell you something. No one is going to rob the First National Bank and Trust on my watch. So naturally, I sent Miss Mang out to the bank floor to see what was going on.
Oh, yeah. Chuck, a.k.a. Mr. Macho Man. Well, he sends me out there. I mean, what am I supposed to do with a bank robber? Ask him if he wants some dictation? So I left Chuckster's office and I went over to the ladies' room and I hung out in there until the whole thing was over.
Well, I thought I was about to meet my maker. But then I looked behind the bank robber at the next customer in line, and I saw that it was Mrs. Zubrinsky, there to cash her Social Security check, just like she does every month. And she didn't look happy.
Stand in line too long. No more dilly-dally. My Lubomir waiting for me at home. We having kielbasa dinner, which I have in bag, still frozen. Guy in front of line need to hurry up. I teach him lesson.
Well, just when I started thinking that I was making progress with this bank broad, I hear this screaming, shrieking sound behind me. Next thing you know, I'm on the floor. And all I can see is this really ugly old lady swinging a frozen kielbasa at me.
Kielbasa! 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 Ah, your kielbasa! Ah.
And it was lights out.
Mrs. Zubrinsky whacked him on the head with that kielbasa, and down he went like a fat kid on a seesaw.
Bad man fall on floor. Now my turn to cash check.
Unbelievable! But is the bank robber dead?
Well, I guess you can say he's now basting the formaldehyde turkey.
Yes, he's gone into the fertilizer business. Permanently.
I guess you could describe our bank robber as deceased, demised, departed, and defunct. And Miss Mang is delicious. Oh, you can cut that, right?
Do I look dead to you? I don't think I'm dead. Then again, I don't even know where I am. Well, I guess if I was dead, they sure as hell wouldn't send me to heaven.
Wow. What a story. Karma, the strength of the human spirit, and a couple of pounds of killer kielbasa. So tell us, have you learned anything from this life-changing event?
Well, of course, I was forced to take an early retirement due to unlawful food in the bank, unauthorized dictation, and unauthorized bloodstains on the floor. So you see, I'm just a victim of a violent crime like everyone else. Are we still on?
Well, there is one thing I'd like to say. I've been wanting to say it for a very long time. Mr. Harrison, you can take a long walk on a short pier. There, I said it. Oh dear, is it okay for me to say that on television?
Well, sometimes in life, you just have to take a little dictation. But just a little.
Well, I do know one thing for sure. They only serve one thing for dinner here every night. Yep, you guessed it.
Kielbasa! Kielbasa! Kielbasa!
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The case of the killer kielbasa, as told by the corporate boardrooms and the secret rendezvous rooms, and the mind of a dead man who thinks he's not really dead. Yeah, right. What really happened? Well, tune in tomorrow to the next edition of the Jake Joslin Show, starring me, Jake Joslin.